Hi, TAMMA family and friends. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm recording this as of 11:49 on Thursday, April 3rd, the day after so-called Liberation Day. And right now, the markets have been anywhere down between 4% and 5%. So I wanted to send out a message to kind of give you an idea of what's going on, what's happening, and what I'm doing. So I'll first start off with I try not to make these messages political at all. I have no idea if these tariffs are going to work out or not. We won't really know until another year from now, maybe longer. So, but what I do know in talking to enough economists, um, I think everybody should be aware that even though Tama is me, I have a whole team around me that helps provide data. Like I work with several economists that I rely on for economic data. I have several vendors that provide invaluable data that I use as putting together your portfolios. But going back to the tariffs, I do know two things. It's a tax, number one, and number two, somebody has to pay that tax. And it's usually going to be companies or consumers. So what does that mean? Well, if the companies are eating the cost, then their margins are going to go down, and that's going to affect their valuation and stock prices. If consumers are paying the tax, then growth is likely going to slow down. Now, there are um, benefits that are being touted as to why we are going through with these tariffs. And again, some of those are political, some of those are economic. And again, we won't know until a year from now whether or not they're going to work. So the big question probably on everybody's mind is, so what am I doing with your portfolio? What am I doing with your wealth management plans? Today I just want to focus on what's going on with the markets and what I'm doing from a portfolio management standpoint. Some families have actually noticed that their cash in their accounts have been building up. And I've been specifically doing that for days like today. Again, these 10% corrections typically happen at least once a year. And I think over the last couple years, we've kind of been lulled to sleep a little bit because there hasn't been a lot of volatility, not since 2022. And as I've remarked to a few of you that I've talked to over the last few weeks during tax season, I get more nervous when things are just going up in a straight line than I do on days like today, because I'm naturally prepared for down days like today. I know what I want to do. I've got a list of companies I'm looking to buy at specific prices. So that's what I've been doing today. And so even though I've been building cash reserves up, the other thing I've been doing, and maybe you've noticed, maybe you haven't over the last 6 or 7 months, is I've been slowly taking risk off to the table. So what does that mean? I've been lowering most families' asset allocation, that split between stocks and bonds. So for example, or fixed income. So for example, if you're in a 70-30 portfolio or asset allocation, 70% allocated to stocks, 30% allocated to fixed income, I've been trying to slowly bring that down to 65, 35, 60, 40. And even though I'm going out and buying new companies today, I'm using that cash that I've built up. But I see this year as being more volatile. And so there's metrics that I look at that are telling me to take some more risk or take risk off the table, which is what I've been doing. So that's what's going on from the portfolio management standpoint. You know, today has been a volatile day because of the tariff announcements yesterday. But I do want to let you know, if you do look at the markets, you're probably going to hear about mainstream media tonight or throughout the day what's going on with the market. But tomorrow could be another volatile day. And the reason why is that the March jobs report comes out. And everybody's going to be laser focused on that, because one of the things that has been holding up our economy, our US economy, are jobs. Now, I can tell you that I have several of you families that I work with that are going through career transitions right now. So you've already experienced some of what I've seen in the data where we have a slowing job market. And so, excuse me, companies aren't hiring as much. They're certainly not hiring as fast. And, occasionally we'll get the mass announcements of layoffs. So it's more of a challenging time to try to find a job than it was a year or even 2 years ago. But with that being said, unemployment is still relatively low, but it's been increasing a little bit over the last 6-7 months. So if we get an unfavorable jobs report tomorrow, meaning we don't generate as many jobs as what was expected, we could see potentially another down day. So I just wanted to prepare you for that. So again, what I'm doing from a portfolio standpoint, I've got a watchful eye on all of your assets. I'm taking action where I think needed. And like I mentioned before, I had already started building up some cash reserves for a situation like this. And again, I'm still looking at keeping risk at a below normal level. So hopefully this helps. I still get that question often, like, how, Paul, do you stay so calm during market volatility like this? And as I mentioned, I think it's easier for me to stay calm because I know what my game plan is. I know what our game plan is. I know what I need to do to help support you. And that goes back to having that solid financial plan in place and making sure that what we're doing from a portfolio management standpoint is aligned to what we're doing from a financial planning standpoint, both financially and personally. And that's, again, why you've heard me stress this time and time again over the last 12 to 18 months, why it's so important to have your purpose and your objectives laid out in your wealth management plans. And I know some of us, we're working with some families. I'm still working with you all to, get those in place. But now more than ever, when we see this kind of volatility, having that bedrock of knowing that purpose and objectives and what we want to achieve, again, both personally and financially, are absolutely critical. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank God tax season is ending hopefully this week. I've got a few more returns that need to get filed, but thanks everyone for listening to this and helping me get through tax season. It's not lost on me that many of you know how stressful tax season can get. And it means the world to me when several of you reach out and ask how I'm doing and if there's anything that you can do to help me. And that is a hallmark of this family called TAMMA that we've all created, and we help support one another, even though you may not know each other. So again, thank you for all those that have reached out. And overall, it was actually a pretty good tax season. So again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call or shoot me a text or an email. I'm always here to support you. Thanks and have a great day.